One of the games I've made.
Yes. How did you make it? Do you remember?
Yeah, so first I added 3 sprites. The first one will be like the ball, and the other 2 will be the 2 purple sticks for like the ball to bounce off of. If the ball bounces off the purple stick and does not land on the other purple stick, that means game over. Also, I've made this photosynthesis game. It's actually not a game, it's an informational presentation, as I like to call it. And it talks about the photosynthesis of a purple flower. So this is my math project.
What were the different functions in this? Do you remember?
Yeah. So first, when you start playing the game, a typing area will appear, a text box, as I like to call it, there, and you play as the cursor right here, and the cursor will ask a math question. For example, 12 times 4, and then you have to write in 48, and this cursor starts moving, and this man right here starts to move. It's a bot that starts to move, and you have to tell the cursors the math questions, and it has to move and beat the man who is running. And if you answer it wrong, the math question, you get like 1 step back, and you have to try again against your opponent.
And what is the score all about?
The score is all about the amount of math questions you get right. This is what I call extensions. So there's music, pen, video sensing, and text-to-speech.
And what do each of them do?
Oh, so for example, music. You can add many sounds to your games. For example, like last time I tried out a motion sensor, which every time I move, the music will play, and there's a sprite which is a stick that moves around with me and plays the music. And this is a pen. Pen is an extension that you can use to draw on your screen, aka your game. So I made a game about planet orbits, and we wanted to stimulate how the planets orbit around the sun. So we added pen to orbit around the sun, so it shows a trail of how the planets orbit around the sun. And for video sensing, and I talked about that motion sensing game, right? So video sensing is your camera on your computer detects your movements while you move. And I tried this with my motion sensing game. So every time I move my face, the stick will make sound. Motion sensing game was just a combination of music and video sensing. And text-to-speech is an extension that helps your sprite speak, which helps your sprite speak in an automated voice. For example, Siri, right? Siri speaks in an automated voice. So if you add in text-to-speech, it will talk. You also need to add in words for text-to-speech to make sure it talks. This is based off Fruit Ninja. So you are a sword that is inside a Japanese training dojo, and there'll be a bunch of fruits around the dojo floating around, and you have to cut the fruits, and they will make a popping sound as you cut them. So there's scores and lives. So for score, every time you cut a fruit, you earn a score, right? And lives is something I need to talk about. So like for example, this jellyfish here appears on your screen. When you cut the jellyfish, it takes away your life. You only have 3 lives, so if you cut 3 jellyfish, that means game over. So this is actually one of my favorites. Let me talk about it. So first of all, this game is like a simple racing game. So this is pretty much like Asphalt, but 2D on top. So for example, you play as this red car right here, okay? And you have to race against this blue car around this racing track to reach the finish line. But this is a multiplayer game. So for the blue one, you have to press WASD, and for the red one, you have to press the arrow keys to move. And also there's a timer, which records the amount of time it took for you to get to the finish line.
What about the limitation to this?
So you play as the car, right? But if you drive out of bounds and you hit the and if you touch the yellow thing, that means that you get to go back to the beginning and you have to restart all over again. So yeah, try not to go out of bounds. That's all I have to say if you want to play this.